Welcome, welcome. I wanted to do some rapid fire reviews. I've got a bunch of movies that I've seen over the last little while, and I just want to drop thoughts on them. I don't know if this is something that will be popular on this channel. I mean, it's just my thoughts. They may not be interesting to anybody, but yeah, whatever. I thought I'd give it a try. If it's something you enjoy, give a like to the video, subscribe for more. Let me know that this is something you're interested in, and I'll do more. I'm going to be consulting my phone for this because that's where I keep a list of what I've watched, a sort of list of ones that I haven't reviewed yet. Once I review them, they get moved off of here. Everything goes in Letterboxd, blah, 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 blah. All right. Infinity Pool.
You know, James, do you worry they got the wrong man?
Infinity Pool is the latest Brandon Cronenberg movie. It's one where he's sort of started to move out of the shadow of his father a little bit, which is nice because I found his earlier movies very David Cronenberg style. And it's fair to be influenced by him. He's a powerful filmmaker. He's your father. I mean, he's influenced a lot of people who aren't related to him by blood. There's no reason that, Brandon should be safe from this. This is definitely the best of his movies so far, in my opinion. I found Possessor had a real sort of, like a student film feel to it at times. Some of the camera work and choices around lighting really felt very student film to me. This one definitely overcame most of that, and having bigger name actors involved was a boon to the film. Mia Goth was really good. She played a character who showed a few different sides of herself, so she really got a chance to act in the movie, which is good. Horror can do that for actresses. I think they get more of an opportunity than just being the girlfriend. Alexander Skarsgård was also really good in it. He's had a interesting career. He's definitely picked up steam recently, and he deserves it. He's got enough talent for what he needs to do. And little spoiler here, I don't know, skip ahead blah 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 seconds to to miss it, but with me, of course, as I've said many times, I'm sure, all I'm really looking for is a movie that I'll remember, and this is a movie that enough time has passed that if I can point out a specific scene that I remember, it's a movie I'm going to give a recommendation to. So this will get a recommendation, and one of the key scenes that really stuck out to me was the scene where everyone wakes up and they're brought into the room and they have their throats slit. And the movie plays it out like we're seeing the originals and not the doubles. I'm not going to do a plot description here. I mean, I could, but I don't see the point. It's a big enough movie. If you're interested in it, you know it. And that scene really stuck out to me in that it played with our emotions. It really felt like it was them. And then the way it cut back to them in the audience laughing and watching was really effective filmmaking. So yes, I mean, part of the idea of who's the real one is obviously one of the themes of the film. And that scene was the one that really pulled the trigger on it completely for me. So Infinity Pool, thumbs up, definitely recommend it. Back to my phone now to see what else I did. Cult I'm not going to do. North Star I'm not going to do. Ghost Zombie wasn't meh. The Stranger, what do we got? Ooh, Marcel the Shell. Marcel the Shell with shoes on. It was a very cute, bittersweet type film. It wanted to achieve a certain thing, and it did very, very successfully. When it comes to kids' movies, my standards are a little bit different. I mean, there's maybe a middle ground between recommended or not recommended, thumbs up, thumbs down. With kids' films that would be recommended for family viewing. And Marcel the Shell is definitely recommended for family viewing. My daughter Anna, she sat through the whole movie with us and enjoyed it, even the sad parts. And it's actually close to being fully recommended. Enough time has passed that I think I can recommend that movie. There are some moments that have really stuck with me. It's something that creates a world it's fantasy world that's really well executed. This world of these shells that live and, they walk, and then we finally see the whole family of them. It really, it worked for me. I enjoyed that movie a lot, and yeah. I'm glad. I don't think we need a sequel, but I definitely recommend it. Cocaine Bear. I was back in my phone there looking, and I came up with Cocaine Bear. Uh, I'm not doing cocaine off my phone, I swear, or off a bear.
Get higher, baby, and don't ever come down.
Cocaine Bear is ultimately disappointing. I think that all I was really looking for was a movie with a rampaging bear, which it does have, and those are the moments that work. It actually feels like the movie might have been reshot. Like, Ray Liotta died sometime between the production of the film and its release, and I feel like he might not have been involved in reshoots. I feel like the movie was changed to emphasize the comedy, and he was not involved in that process. I'm not putting down his comedic timing. I'm not the biggest Ray Liotta fan, or I wasn't. I'm still not. But it does feel like he's in a different movie. It feels like he's playing it relatively straight, and everybody else is playing it for comedy. And some of that comedy is just way too broad. Like, there's characters who really are just, they're trying too hard. It makes it unfunny as opposed to funny. Sometimes, like a Will Ferrell, the harder he tries, for me, the more I enjoy the movie. But in this movie, I think it just came across too broad. I'd probably put a lot of it down to the direction. I don't think Elizabeth Banks is necessarily a good director. I don't want to put her down. She probably has enough talent, and she got a movie put together. But I do feel like a lot of it falls to her as the director. It was not a great movie, and it was ultimately disappointing. And it didn't need to do a lot to be what I wanted from the film. And this is where I'm a hypocrite. I actually probably will give it a recommendation because of it having one scene that I remember, and it's the one that they tease or almost spoil in the trailer. The ambulance attack is hilarious. It works. I love Mariana Margulies' face grinding on the ground, and the bear just rampaging in the back. Some of the actors involved in that scene and some of the dialogue and stuff, again, was too campy. Like the driver, I think, was given the short end of the stick in that one with what she had to, her reactions and how she was directed to act. But the scene itself really worked. When the bear was on screen, it was mostly pretty good. The actors were okay, and yeah. So I'm giving it a thumbs up, but keep in mind that my standards are low. So yeah. All right, well, next up is almost the counterpoint to Cocaine Bear, and that is Ghost Shark.
Your daddy brought this horror into our world. You get to send it back.
Which is obviously not something that people would necessarily know about. I believe it was made by Asylum for Sci-Fi Channel. If not, it certainly has that feel to it. But it is a movie that just does everything right. Like, I know, Ghost Shark, how could it do anything right? How could it do anything wrong? I don't know. But you know what? It knows what it is. It goes out and does it. And it's enjoyable the whole way. Like, everything that I want to see. So the premise of the film, I'll explain this one because people might not know it, and maybe it'll help convince you that you want to do this, you want to watch this movie. The premise of the movie is that there's this shark. It's a ghost shark. It was slaughtered illegally, and it's coming back for revenge. There's a little more to it that's revealed as the movie goes along, but that's the basic premise, and it can come out of any water. So right away, you know that this shark, like, the possibilities are endless, and this is where the movie really gets it right. Like, it really plays into every single one of those. A guy drinks a glass of water and the shark rips out from inside of him. Like, what more do I want out of a movie than a ghost shark ripping out of some guy? It's jumping from puddle to puddle at one point. Everything I could want from a shark movie, every idea of what a shark that can go into any water, no matter how big it is in this movie. The shark that jumps out of the swimming pool, right? It sort of reminded me of, like, I don't know, Alligator, which was also an excellent movie that did a lot of what it needed to do. So yeah, Ghost Shark, very much the counterpoint to Cocaine Bear. There was no disappointment there. It hit well above its weight class. It was definitely an impressive film. And you know what? There's a scene with Richard Mall, Bull from Night Court, towards the end of the movie that has, like, I don't know, more creativity and like more cinematic art to it than anything in Cocaine Bear. Like, it just, the way they shoot him as he has a sort of a breakdown is like, you know, that's how you shoot that scene. Everything in Cocaine Bear, flat, point the camera, lock it down, so when the, you know, the CG bear comes through, it's easier to match it to the shot. Whatever it is that makes them do that. This was, you know, creative and interesting, and it's a good way to tell that bit of story. All right, what's next on my list? Are these rapid enough? I don't know. No. Okay. Zero Patience. This is one that I had seen on the video store shelves for years when I was younger. It's a Canadian film, so most Canadian stores had it. I think outside of Canada, you may not have really had the same, like, you may not have ever seen the cover. It's got a guy coming out of the water. It's very blue. It's a cool looking shot. And I knew it dealt with AIDS, but I didn't know much beyond that. And when I finally had a chance to watch it, it's really, really clever and really interesting and fun. It's a musical, and musicals are always hit and miss with me, but when you're doing something that's more interesting and different, it becomes a real bonus. Something like La La Land has a few decent songs in it, but it's very by the numbers type musical, I would say, in my opinion. So that one doesn't really strike with me. But Zero Patience, I mean, it's clever, it's interesting. The way the music itself is really good, and it's got some good beats to it. And the story it tells is really interesting too. There's a few things that stick out with this one, specifically the Zero Patience song. I wonder if some of the facts mentioned in it were ever like fact checked. It sounds like they're ideas that were being explored at the time and may or may not turn out to be true, like dispelling facts. One thing that came up was that there were cases of AIDS in the 60s, and that may be true. I don't know. I haven't researched it since. I certainly hadn't researched it at the time, but I feel like I would have known, though. I mean, it's been, you know, a long time since people were talking about AIDS a lot. It's luckily, I think its impact on people's lives has been lessened through chemical means, and we've been able to help people who have it, AIDS or HIV. So anyways, bit of a downer idea, but the way it deals with it is very human, and Zero Patience is the Zero Patient, the Canadian who is the Canadian flight attendant who is considered to be the one who brought it to Canada, to North America. So yeah, no, it was a really, really cool movie, and yeah, so recommended. Let's go to my next. Back to my phone. What do we got? No. I don't even know what that is. Okay, so Despiser. Despiser is the movie that if you watch the Ross videos on this channel, we watched Outer World, Beyond the Rising Moon, and that's directed by Philip J. Cook. The movie that made me pick that movie is Despiser.
The battle for your soul has just begun. Eagle Films presents Despiser.
So Despiser was made in 2003. I'm probably off on that. Doesn't matter too much. And I really, really enjoyed how much effort went into it. Effort means so much to me when it comes to filmmaking, honestly. I'm assuming, actually, Philip J. Cook is, I'm 99.9% sure, is like his own effects artist on these things, sort of a Jeff Leroy thing, which is the reference we made during the Ross video. And here he really brings the best skills, the best ability, the best of his ability onto the screen. There's these walking demon guys, and they're like multiple of the same one composited throughout the shot. There's a CG car there with the people inside composited into the windshield of the car. There's grass blowing in the wind, and it's all, I mean, it's largely, you know, like PlayStation 2 quality graphics or less, but just, you know, that doesn't mean it's low effort. It means it's actually probably about as much effort as he could do. He put so much into this movie, and you know what? It's got a lot more action than Outer World, which makes it a lot more fun. It made Outer World a little disappointing, but so far everything I've seen by Philip J. Cook, Despiser, and Outer World have both been fun for maybe different reasons, but they've both been fun. Outer World, it's got its moments, but Despiser, it's got a lot more moments, and I didn't find any of it as like slow or boring. So definitely thumbs up for Despiser. Back to my phone now. Let's find out what else I watched. I watched a bunch. I'm skipping over the ones that I don't have anything to say about them. Human Highway is another musical. Human Highway is another musical, and it's going to make me look like a liar here with all these musicals that I watched and enjoyed recently. It's a movie that has all sorts of energy, and even though it's made by professional musicians, it's made by Neil Young. He directed it along with Dean Stockwell. He got Devo involved, and they did most of the music along with Neil Young. It exists as this thing outside of the Hollywood system, even though it's obviously got some major musical stars in it. And it's so weird and so out there, and I don't know, it's got like this reverence for the classic Hollywood musical in some ways, some of the scenes, but then just through this tilted lens, it gives it a whole different feel than what I've seen in other movies. And you know what? It's Devo, and like they're doing their Devo thing. You get Babyhead, you get, you know, with that voice, you get so many things. And like the cast is amazing. Like there's so many notable actors, actresses, musicians in this movie that it's hard not to enjoy it. I'm not even a music person, and this was a joy to watch. So yeah, Human Highway, thumbs up. I think any of the songs as a music video in the midst of this thing would have worked, but there was good acting too from these musicians, comedy throughout. It was a winner. I watched Goodbye Pork Pie.
There's cops all down this road.
So?
So cops have got radios and this gas is stolen.
So has the car.
And I guess one of the reasons that I'm reviewing it here is because it's one of the movies we were talking about during our Ross video again. It's a New Zealand 1980s, so it almost feels more 70s, road trip comedy. These two guys, one of them steals a car and picks the other one up hitchhiking, and they travel across the country. The hitchhiker is looking to get back with his girlfriend. The guy who stole the car is just looking for a good time. And what turns into, you know, a road trip or a trip predicated on a single crime becomes a sort of mini crime wave, I guess. They steal gas and do all sorts of fun stuff like that. And I don't know, it has a real charm to it. Like, I don't know, it has a charm to it. It's very zany without going over the top. There's sort of almost, I mean, the New Zealanders are not British, but there's almost a British reserve to the comedy. Like, it doesn't get stupid, you know? People are doing things that seem normal-ish within the situation. The characters are written in a way that even though when they're doing things that are a little bit weirder, it makes sense. It's on topic. It's on point. It's very much in character for who they are. And that really helps it work in terms of that emotional connection, because there's enough drama behind it with the girlfriend that the guy's trying to get back to, and other things like that, that it feels like it has enough drama and it needs that emotional connection to really work. And really the best part about it is this little car. The car that is stolen is I'm not a car guy, and maybe it's only in New Zealand. Sure, it's not just only in New Zealand. But anyways, it's this tiny little VW rabbit looking thing. I'm sure it's not. It's probably a Datsun something. I don't know. Doesn't matter. And it, the stunts they do, they jump it onto a train. They just like, and then they start tearing pieces off of it. They sell pieces off this car as they go along, and it just becomes like a nothing. At the end, it's driving down the road with sparks flying off of it because it's like half a car dragging its butt end on the road. And I don't know, it just kind of like, it's a metaphor for their whole journey, right? Like everything they're about is just kind of getting stripped away, and it becomes just getting there is the only thing that matters. And yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. And it probably wouldn't have fit our Ross video anyway, so I think we made the right choice, especially since we watched Maradona, which was one that we all loved. Goodbye Pork Pie is not a bad movie, does not deserve to be part of the Ross video. It's a culty 70s sort of counterculture-y through the eye of a New Zealander, and it's cool. I like it. Recommended. No, 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 no.